Woo! All right, class, welcome back. We are back here in session, and today we're going to be learning all about budgeting. Now, in order to keep this class, incredibly Sesame Street simple, I'm going to provide to you the most simplistic version of a budget in which you cannot go wrong with it, but it is absolutely imperative you apply it to your life as soon as you possibly can to set yourself up for success. Now, that budget is actually known as a 50-30-20 budget, and it is not only an incredible budget for the actual beginner, but for those of you who are more experienced in personal finance and money management, this budget works equally as well. So let's get to it. The 50-30-20 budget. This means that 50% of your budget is going to be allocated towards your needs. 30% of your budget is going to be allocated towards your wants. And last but not least here, but most importantly, 20% of your budget is going to be allocated towards your savings, aka your future self. So before we go any further, I want to go ahead and just define what exactly a need is and what exactly a want is, because there's certainly a ton of confusion when it comes to these two terms. So the way I'd actually like to define a need is something that you absolutely cannot live without. Simple enough, right? And a want then, for that matter, is simply just a desire. So something that you yearn for, but don't really at the end of the day need. So to run us through a couple of examples of needs versus wants, we're gonna start with some real basic needs. So for example, we have housing, perhaps paying your utility bill, you need groceries and food, and of course you need things like insurance and paying medical bills. Now jumping over to those wants, you can find things like brand new clothing, because let's be honest, I don't need new clothes, new shoes, a new watch every single month, week, or day. I can certainly hold off and be totally satisfied with what I already have. Also inclusive in this wants category are things like dining out, because again, let's face it, I don't need to go out to eat every single day. I can certainly begin to pack lunch when I go to work, or I can certainly improve upon culinary skills and learning how to cook dinners. Now here's where it may get just a little confusing for some of you, because this is where things like Netflix and Spotify are actually within the wants category. And that is because if I don't have Netflix or Spotify, I'm not just gonna croak over. Now that 20% category, I wanna talk about it for a brief second, and that being within this category is, yes, generalized savings, but that category further breaks down into things like establishing an emergency fund, retirement savings, and of course, if you still need to pay them down, your debts. So let's go ahead now and just give ourselves an example in saying that your net income, so your after-tax dollars, is $2,000 per month. The very first thing I want to do is actually pay myself first, meaning that I'm immediately going to take 20% of that $2,000 and tuck it right into savings as the very first thing I do when I get that paycheck. So $2,000 times 20% is $400, and $400 is then immediately being allocated towards my savings. Now at this point, we're left with $1,600, so we're gonna take $1,600 and multiply that by 50% to get $800, meaning $800 is going to go towards my needs. And the best part is anything thereafter that, so in our case, another $800 is all going to be going towards your wants. Now, just before we actually close out for today's session, I want to make sure that you understood that you absolutely need to pay yourself first. So in paying yourself first and then tackling your needs, anything that is left over at the end of the day could all go towards your wants, which is exactly how you're supposed to budget. Do the things you absolutely need, which is saving for your future, taking care of the necessities of your life, and then last but not least, with whatever you have left, it's all yours to do whatever you'd like to do, even if that's buying new clothes or eating out as much as you possibly can with the remainder of the amount of money you have left. Now class, that wraps us up for today in today's session regarding budgeting. So class is officially dismissed.